Hi, I'm Alan. Before our upcoming session, I want to share something that will help you get the most out of our time together. It's about your subconscious mind, the part of your brain that's been recording everything you've ever experienced, from the moment you were born until today. Your subconscious is like a vast library. Every memory, every emotion, every sound, sight, and feeling, it's all stored there. But here's the fascinating part. The subconscious doesn't just store reality. It also uses imagination to edit your life story. It can delete certain details, distort events, or even generalize experiences, creating patterns that can either help you or hold you back. For example, as a young child, maybe you came home excited to show your parents something you made, and they seemed busy or distracted. Your young mind might have imagined they didn't care, and that single moment could turn into a belief that what you do isn't good enough. A few years later, maybe you spoke in front of your class and one or two people laughed, but years later, your mind remembers everyone laughing, and now you feel nervous speaking in public. And as an adult, maybe at work you shared an idea in a meeting, and your boss gave you quick feedback. Over time, your mind replayed that moment as a big criticism, making you doubt yourself and hold back in future meetings. That's the power of the subconscious, using imagination to delete, distort, and generalize memories, and it's those kinds of patterns we can reframe together. Think about Albert Einstein. He said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Or Walt Disney, who built entire worlds from his mind's eye. And in the field of neuro-linguistic programming, Richard Bandler, one of its co-creators, discovered that imagination is the key to reshaping how our mind stores and responds to old experiences. Now ask yourself, if the greatest minds in history used imagination to shape their reality, how could you use yours to reshape yours? What possibilities could open up if you allowed yourself to imagine the version of you that's free from old fears, doubts, and limitations? And what new story could you create if you decided right now to see your past not as a chain holding you back, but as raw material for building your future? In our session, I'll guide you to use your imagination just like you did as a child, free, playful, and without limits. Why? Because the subconscious loves creativity. When you allow yourself to make believe, you give your mind permission to unlock old habits that no longer serve you and to create new ones that empower you at lightning speed. So I invite you to ask yourself, what might happen if I gave myself permission to imagine without holding back? If I could create any new belief about myself, what would it be? And how much faster could I change if I simply allowed my mind to play along, even if it felt unusual at first? By working together, we'll use these principles to reframe old memories, release emotional burdens, and rewire your mind for beliefs and behaviors that match the life you want to live. Before we finish, I want you to remember something important. During this entire process, I have no control over your mind or your decisions. You have 100% full control over your thoughts, your choices, and the direction you take at all times. My role is simply to act as your guide, much like a GPS when you're driving. I can show you the clearest, most effective path to change, but it's always up to you to take the steps forward. When you do, transformation can happen faster and more powerfully than you might imagine. Before our session, take a moment to think about the kinds of changes you'd love to make. And if you have any questions about what you've just learned or about our upcoming session, send them to me. I'm here to make sure you feel fully prepared and excited for this transformation.